Welcome to the RewardWorks software from Zavez for ADP. Today we're going to view a brief demonstration of the RewardWorks software while we cross-reference some screenshots of how we work with your ADP system. The entire reason that Zavez is in business is for accounts payable. We want to help with each step of the way: who takes American Express, how to get the vendors the American Express information, updating your ADP system, and reconciling. Where we get started is with your vendor list. You'll send us in a list of your vendors, and we'll go out and identify everyone's American Express policies. The other reason we do this is we have to have this information to create a SQL database. This is your SQL database. We download it to you, we help you install it, and it's how the software knows who takes American Express and acts as a backup for all American Express transactions. After we're done installing the database, we'll come and client install so only the computers that you want the software will have it. It sits as a menu option right inside your ADP menu. Now the software RewardWorks is looking for open invoices. So we want you to enter those invoices into ADP as always. You're going to post them the same, you're going to code them the same, you'll even do pay runs on the exact same days. Just right before you go in to batch the invoices for a check, you're going to open up RewardWorks. You'll always open up RewardWorks before you do a check run. It's the software RewardWorks who knows who takes American Express, not your ADP system. So by doing the American Express vendors first, we're going to get all of those invoices out of the way. When you open up RewardWorks, it's going to automatically go into ADP and pull over all the open invoices of the vendors who take American Express. Now you can immediately go up top and sort these invoices by due date. We can sort by the largest invoice. We can sort by invoice number. The software itself is very user-friendly. Now you can absolutely select these invoices one by one, or you can right-click, and then we have the option to grab all the invoices for air gas, or we can select all the invoices all together. Now we've made this pop-up come up that says we've run into our available limit. This is really an example of multiple card use. Many companies have more than just one American Express card. You've got a travel and expense card, you've got a card in the owner's pocket, and then you have a card for payables. So you could have a designated amount set aside, and that's what this is. The software wants to help you keep track of the amount you decide on. Maybe this month you want to make it $50,000, and next month you can change that to $100,000. The software is programmed by you. It's never pulling any information from the internet. Now before we post these invoices, I want to run one more report. Now this is called a Selected Invoices Report, or an Open Invoice Report for American Express. This is your pre-authorization. It's going to show you everybody who's about to go on American Express, breaking down invoices, totals, and credits. And every report that you generate can go to PDF, Excel, or Word, and by default, we use Crystal Reports. But let's go ahead and post these invoices. So once I have my invoices selected, I'm going to go down here to Pay Invoices to come to one more confirmation screen. And then you click Accept, and now you're done. My software is going to automatically go into ADP using PCK transactions just like a check. It will update the EIB accounts as well as closing out that open invoice under the vendor side and moving it as a liability under the American Express vendor. Now, at the same time, we're also generating this remittance advice. Now, we'll come back and talk about how you want to send this to your vendors, because first I want to go into some screenshots of exactly how we update ADP. We are compatible with ADP Web Suite as well as all versions of ADP Drive. So what the software is doing is it's telling ADP you're being paid by a fake check. That's why we use PCK transactions just like a check. All of our check numbers are going to begin with the letter Z as in Zavez, so whenever you look at the history and see that invoice closed out with the Z number, you'll know that's an American Express payment. Now you will also have a cash and bank account set up for American Express. That way we keep your check and your American Express transactions separated. Now we close this invoice out under the vendor side, and we move it as a new invoice under the American Express side. We're also going to write in the comments waste management vendor, so you'll always be able to link that Z number, which is now our invoice for American Express, right back to the vendor that was paid. This is all done automatically and in real time, so whether you paid 10 invoices or 100 invoices, ADP has immediately been updated. Now, at the same time we're doing that, we're also generating this remittance advice. It's also known as our payment letter. This is what we need you to send to the vendors. We can email this, we can fax this, and you can print this out and mail it just like a check. However you see fit, as long as you send this to ABF, they will process what's called a card not present transaction, also known as a vendor-initiated payment. Now, if you have the fax or the email address entered into ADP, the software can pull it over and display it on the payment letter each time. We can also set the software up to automatically generate emails for individual vendors. Now, you absolutely can print this out to any printer. We do not have to use ADP laser printers. And you can sign it just like a check. You can have one signature, you can have two, you can have none. But you can also print out copies. So whether you choose to continue a paper trail or whether you choose to go electronic, however you send this to Aramark, they will process the payment as soon as you send this to them. Now, the software is going to help you keep a record of all of your American Express transactions. Not only do we keep the history updated inside of ADP for you, but because of that SQL database, we're going to act as a backup for all American Express transactions. So as long as you back up that SQL database, we can go into our reporting section, and for any date range, we can run a payment history by vendor. If you select all vendors, what we'll get is a closed invoice report that we can match up against ADP. Now we can take this same report and check the summarize box, and then what we're going to get is a report that looks a lot like our American Express statement. You can take this report and put it into Excel and line this up next to the American Express online or at work statements and reconcile just like you would with your bank account. We've got open invoice report, aging reports, payment history by detail for vendors per page, or you can do it by American Express number. And we also remain as on-demand support and service. So anytime you're using the software, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., after we've installed, configured, and trained you, you can call us anytime to answer any questions. Well, thank you so much for joining my demonstration today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.